You have the right to speak your mind in America, to express your political point of view. You have that right. That is the First Amendment. And the press is supposed to be the embodiment of it. And of course, the press is owned by billionaires, and basically the billionaires and the governments are in cahoots. So the government and the billionaires basically run the newspapers now. So it's screwed. So now all we have is the people like Mahmoud here. But he wasn't a citizen. That doesn't matter. The Constitution applies to everyone who is under the jurisdiction of America. Anyone who is within our borders enjoys the same rights as all of our citizens. That is a Supreme Court decision that has been made over and over again. They've challenged it many times. If you are in America, you have the same rights as an American. But they have other ways of getting to you because they don't believe, these guys do not believe in freedom of speech.
But she says he's a green card holder. Kahlil is no stranger on campus. The Palestinian activist and graduate student helped organize the Columbia University student encampment last April. He became the face of the pro-Palestinian movement on campus.
I love this. They couldn't even get that right. They revoked his student visa. I don't have a student visa. I'm a green card holder. What are you talking about? I have a green card. I have the right to be here. We're revoking your student visa. I don't have a student visa. They couldn't even get that right. ICE. Losers.
We will remain here until all U.S. universities, especially Columbia, will divest.
A spokesperson with the Department of Homeland Security released a statement reading in part, quote, in support of President Trump's executive order prohibiting anti-Semitism and in coordination with the Department of State, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested Mahmoud Khalil. They claim he, quote, led activities aligned to Hamas, a designated terrorist organization.
There you go. How is the Palestinian Liberation Movement aligned with Hamas? Good question. I think it'd be hard to prove that in court. You know how I feel about it. I have very nuanced feelings about the Israeli and Palestinian conflict that's been going on since I was a little boy. But here Mahmoud wants to express his feelings about it, and they send the Gestapo after him in order to stop. This is, if I don't know how many, I feel like this show is just becoming more and more evidence for the fact that America is sliding into this authoritarian Nazi-esque regime that makes me really embarrassed and sad. Like, I disagreed with the encampments. I don't think that it was a good idea to have those tents on campus. I thought that was a little much. I thought that, of course, they were going to crack down. And when they did crack down, I knew that the cops were going to get handsy with people like me who were also involved in activism. And then, of course, they did. I was assaulted multiple times last year by police because when one group of police gets really uppity and they think they can crack skulls, they start feeling that way about all activists. So, yeah, I thought it was a little bit of a, I didn't like the way it all went down. It was, like I said, mixed feelings. Anyway, they still respect their rights to do it. I remember my friend Lauren, she was upset with me because you're defending their rights. Yeah, I'm defending their rights. That's anti-Semitism. And it's their right to express their beliefs. Sorry, I'm American. I'm a free speech. I believe in the Constitution. I think that we need rights to be held for all of us, because the second you don't have a popular opinion and they want to put you in jail, I also will fight for you, even if I disagree with your point of view. I don't think you should go to jail for expressing it or face any consequences other than maybe, I don't know, people stop buying your records or something. To say there's no consequences is one thing, but the government coming after you? The government's going to come after you and put you in jail, knock on your door, and take this guy away because he led a student protest? They couldn't get at all the other ones, but they found out that he was a green card holder, and so they sent the Gestapo after him. ICE.
Khalil's attorney also released a statement saying, quote, we will vigorously be pursuing Mahmoud's rights in court and will continue our efforts to right this terrible and inexcusable and calculated wrong committed against him.
The Department of Homeland Security does have carve-outs to allow for certain revoking of green cards and visas.
They're not going to pick up. They're not going to pick up illegal Australians because guess what? They're mostly white. That's why they're not picking up illegal white people.
Question is, does protesting at a university?
Although, have you heard that they're revoking 240,000 Ukrainians who were here as refugees, asylum seekers? They're going to send them back to Ukraine.
Like Columbia, loud megaphone, does that qualify as something that would qualify for a carve out there? So
loud megaphone. You hear that? You hear that? Already talking about taking away the rights of activists.
Does have carve outs to allow for certain revoking of green cards and visas. The question is, does protesting at a university like Columbia, loud megaphone, does that qualify as something that would qualify for a carve out there? So
does using a megaphone mean that you get to get arrested a year later? A year later, you're going to get arrested in the middle of the night.
We'll watch this. Obviously,
disappeared. No one knows where he is.
All this developed over the weekend, Blaine. Today's the first working day. We'll see what Monday has in store with this story.
Lot to follow through on today, Joe, and we know
lot to follow through on today. We're just disappearing people for talking about and criticizing the government. Yep, that's just happened.